Oldsmobile. Power beam. Sealed beam plus 25. Side marker lights. Party barge. Well, what did I do?
Bad alternator.
Bad buy on eBay. Evil Bay. Click here, bid to win. Rocket 455 Oldsmobile. Yeah, well, I bid and I won, and here I am in the parking lot with the toolbox and the alternator in a million pieces. Thank goodness I brought my electric impact gun, and I got my 1968 Oldsmobile. 98 luxury sedan with a pillar in the middle, but frameless door windows, and it's rusted and corroded. Michelin 205 75 14 tires, same size I've got on the Spider. Yeah, got tons of junk in the trunk, got bags of T3s and all kinds of goodies. 98 Oldsmobile. 2 license plate lamps, spare pound nut sitting right there, power trunk release, misaligned back bumper on the taillights. This side lines up perfectly. Oldsmobile 98. Too bad the dealer didn't tell me that back bumper was rusted and dented. Yeah, you buy these party barges on eBay. It pays you money and it takes you chances. It's corroded. Yuck. Not too bad underneath. Seen worse. Single exhaust, one little pee-pee tailpipe hanging down. Not too rusted. New muffler. He had an Electra 225 sitting in the showroom. 1965 station wagon. No, convertible. Sorry, whoops. He had a convertible Electra 225, 1965, just like mine, but the frame was rusted. So was the back body mount. This one's got power antenna, air conditioning that gets ice cold but doesn't blow, AM radio, power antenna, power windows, power seat, and 47,000 miles. I had to fix the windshield wipers. They were parking all the way down there. So I took off the little cap here, which I forgot to put back on, right over there. And I made some minor adjustments. Took me about an hour to get it just right, because it was parking over here and they kabang into there. So I got the windshield wipers working just right. Got a little bit of rust on this side of the vinyl top, but that's about it. I wonder why GM didn't lap that the other way. They lapped it the wrong way. You'd think they would have put the top over the side piece, but they didn't. That's how you can tell a reproduction vinyl top. Battery keeps going dead, so I took apart the alternator. What you doing?
Listening to the sweet sounds of a bad bearing.
Yeah, better to be doing it in a parking lot to comfort in than on the side of the highway with a tow truck that's an hour away. So the mechanic did a thorough rejuvenation to get it road ready for Route 66. New master cylinder, new muffler, new exhaust manifold, tapped the bolts, drilled them, tapped them, except that there's a hole in the crossover pipe and he welded half the hole shut and didn't do the rest. I can't figure it out. So the exhaust leaks. She idles real good, gets crappy gas mileage just like a 455 party barge would get with a turbo hydromatic 400. I took off the front brakes yesterday. They're way out of adjustment. One of them is missing the strut that operates the self-adjuster, so I adjusted the front brakes. The brake drum had grooves in it. It was groovy. It's not supposed to be. Back brakes were right down to the rivets. 1/32 of an inch over the rivet. Should get me home. All the lights work, including the ditch lamps. So I'm going to put this alternator back together, polished up the slip rings, Got my new Made in Canada bearings, and the vendor was so nice that he wasn't even there, so I just stole them all. I've got the original bearing and grease seal, and that is 50-year-old grease, and it's worn out. So now I got to put a little pipe from a WD-40 through those holes to hold the brushes in, and put the alternator back together and get my 455 Oldsmobile all charged up and crank that baby up. Once I put a belt on it and a regulator and a fan motor. Evil Bay. Why do I bother? My hammer. I'm going to take my hammer and chisel my two favorite Craftsman 3/8 and half-inch wrenches, and I'm going to tap this baby back in. Drive her home. Like my workbench? Yep, comfort in parking lot. This is how I started. I suppose this is how I'll end it. Been doing this on the driveway for how many years? Yeah. It's not the cleanliness or the organization of your shop, because they say a poor mechanic always blames his tools. I just like doing this. So you hit it on the outer edge of the bearing, not the inner, because you can break it apart. You take a screwdriver and you pierce the seal. Nope, I'm not going to do that. Actually, if I had a giant socket, which maybe I do. Nope. Maybe I could use the old bearing. Make sure she's driven home. I'm watching that 9/16 socket roll away. Is there a drain somewhere where it could plop down and my magnetic tool will be just an inch shy? I'll have to lie on my chest and retrieve it and make the video go viral as I'm lying over the drain and I have an earthquake and I get sucked into the storm system. Where are we anyways? Just outside of Detroit. Here. Driven home. Crank that baby up! Crank her up! Battery started at the sound of brakes. Alright, where are we? Put my spacer ring on. Put the fan on backwards. It's funny how they have an index notch on it. Keyway. But there's no key. But it has a keyway. Wait a minute. I think I forgot something. The fan. I don't know how many I've seen in junkyards where they've got the wrong fan on and wrong direction because the conveyor spins backwards. There we go, we'll figure it out. And then you put the nut back on, you do the hoochie coochie. That washer is jammed in. How am I going to bang this out of here if I'm banging it right on the pavement? There we go. This washer is always distorted. It's a heavy duty washer. Yeah, it's always beat up. Soft washer. Ways to go. There's this one. Get to put things back just the way they were. These threads could use a drop of grease. Maybe I'll get some of that burned transmission oil and bang my head on the hood. I don't know why Oldsmobile, both the Cutlass and the 88 and 90, the hood only opens up 3/4 of the way. My buddy Spike Punk had a Torino a long time ago, and he used to check the transmission oil on that C4 of what did we beat up that C4. And one day I took the dipstick and I stuck it into the mud and put it down the hole, and he went to check it, and there was all kinds of crud and dirt and disaster, and he wasn't too impressed. Sure made me chuckle. Alright. Does that say off? That must be the wrong way then. I had a guy borrow this and he stole it. Claimed he lent it to a friend and the guy died and never got it back. Made up story. So, that says off. This will press the off button. It does go off. Guess I got the directions in the right way this time. How should I put it on this time? Then we got to put this thing back into the field coils, and that is the hard part. Nice and tight. Distorted that washer. So now for the fun part. I've got to get a little pipe. I'll put those springs and brushes back in and put the little plastic straw through the back to hold those brushes in. That's the only way to do it. So I'll put you on pause. And we'll come back. Alright, so I was able to put the brushes back into the holder. The brushes push down the spring. Then you take an Allen key or a similar tool and you push it in from the back. Right there. And that Allen key is holding the brushes down against the springs, so you can put the front of the alternator with my nice polished up, oh, got that on the fender, slip rings, and I forget which way this clocks. Let me put it this way, and the big bolt goes on the top, and that holds the wiring harness goes there. So brushes are recessed. I put some grease into the needle bearing, got my new bearing there, it's all polished up, got no grease or dirt there, and I just slip it back together. Whoop. Zing! Just like that. And it's not aligned properly. Oops. Take my trusty screwdriver. I didn't get the clock right. I was looking at the wrong lug. Look, I didn't pull that Allen key out. This is how you turn the clock. Oh, that's where it goes. So, yep. The positive goes on the bottom. The plug goes at either 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock, depending which way you're looking at it. And the wires get held in place there. And my bolts are lined up. Big bolt. I'll put a couple bolts in. And got some grease on the threads, even though it didn't need it for the first 50 years. A wire brush to clean those threads up a bit. I'm going to take some transmission fluid, some good Dino oil, some oil on those threads. How's that transmission oil? Nice and red. Probably never been changed for 50 years. I was looking underneath this party barge, and it doesn't look like anything's ever been changed. Modulator valve, oil pans, and a nice thick coating of rust-proofing grease. Put everything back together. Nice coating of oil. Drag her up! Before I pull up the Allen key, I'll check my clock position. Oh, fix your clock. A little bit of oil on this one. Hard to believe that the whole job takes an hour. And a bit of grease, 10 bucks in parts, a little bit of steel wool to polish up the slip ring. I'm going to put a little bit of oil under the head. Sliding nice and easy, see? Lubed up. This is back in the day when the dipstick was between the exhaust manifold and the valve cover. They hadn't yet figured out to move it up even higher, put another couple of bends in it. And then my Mercedes-Benz has No dipstick tube checker. Just has a thin tube for filling. Take it to the dealer, check the temperature, blah, 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 blah. They're so full of it. They make things that are simple too complicated. Next thing you know, they'll take away the dipstick. Oh, they already have. Next thing you know, they'll seal the hood. Oh, they already have. You know something? I didn't put this bearing carrier back in. I wonder if I should put that back in. Hold the bearing in. You know something? I'm just looking around for spare parts. You better turn that camera off before I get all upset and bent. You can leave it running. I wonder if I should put that in. Can that bearing walk out of that position? That is a good question. What do you think?
I think so.
Are we going to get run over by a Jeep Liberty from Arkansas? What do you think? Run over to parking lot by a Jeep Liberty. Got a backup camera? I don't see it. Nope. Lucky I didn't take that Allen key out yet, huh? I'm going to take it apart. I am going to put in that go again with that fan. Yeah, wiggle, jiggle, jiggle. You better turn that camera off. I'm losing patience. Alright. Anybody want 50-year-old grease? I did the right thing by taking it apart and putting the bearing holder back into place. That bearing could have walked backwards. I don't think it could go anywhere. Whoever thought when they greased that bearing 50 years ago, somebody'd be tinkering with it 50 years later. You know where that grease belongs? Is that holder going to do anything? I don't know if it does anything. I don't know. I'll put it back in place. Got little spacers here. Put all the parts back that you don't really even need. Now I won't have any bolts left over. I won't feel like some mechanics. Hey, look at that, a few snap rings and keyways. Like when GM made the Alternator and put a keyway in for the pulley and never used it. Machined for it, but never used. I was just talking to my buddy here, listener Jay. We're talking about having your house by the highway. Is your house by the highway, on a dead-end road, on a busy state road? Where do you live? In the country on acreage, in the country on a small lot, in the city on a big lot, in a condo, in a townhouse, in a basement. There, all nice and tightened up. And now, make sure that slip ring is still there. That's what probably holds the bearing in the housing. That slip ring right there. Now we can shoot it all back together. Make sure I'm putting it in the right order. Not putting the back through the front or the front through the back. Whoop! Now put this other spacer, which is all full of parking lot gravel. Put that back in right there. We'll put that fan on that gave me so much trouble with that keyway. That never got keyway machined in the shaft. Put that on. Oh, it's a tight fit. And then put the pulley back on with a keyway with no accompanying slot. Put that on the right way. Whoop! And we'll take the nut and the distorted washer out of the impact gun. Clean off some of the debris. Yucky. I'll put that nut back on in the right orientation, just the way it was when it left Lansing. Where'd they make these Oldsmobiles? Good and snug. Uh-oh. Why do these things seem so easy when you watch somebody else do it? When you read the description. Disassemble. Assembly is the opposite of disassembly. Alright, my Allen key's still there. Check my clock position. I'll fix your clock. And that goes together like that. And I got the lugs lined up. And now we can try again. If at first you don't succeed, just throw it all under the bus. Go to AutoZone and get a made in Mexico alternator for 40 bucks. That's all they cost. $40 and a $20 core at AutoZone and a $5 core at Advance Auto. And Rock Auto was 35 bucks. So why would you want to send a core back for 5 bucks to Rock Auto? Whether you live in the country or the city or a condo or a townhouse or an acreage or in a basement or in an apartment or a complex or an old single family drafty house or a modern contemporary house, wherever you live, home is where the heart is. There. Now we can torque it down to 150 foot-pounds. Listen to that Corvair. Sweet sound. Now the expert next door. Yeah, he made it back. That's because you pushed him up the hill and then let him roll back downhill. And then, once we've determined that we put everything back together that needs to be put back together, we take our Allen key. Don't forget that, because otherwise it'll short circuit everything. Put our Allen key back in our Allen key holder. And commence to reassemble. Boy, that seems a little tight now. That should spin nice and free. I wonder if I put too many pieces in. Like that bearing and that spacer, that should spin free. I'll put it together and see if I can blow it up. I should put a little bit of oil on those threads. I'm careful not to drop it on my fender. I wonder if that piece that I put back in is bearing against that bearing. It'll just wear in no time at all. Oh boy, not a big fan of that. Wait a minute, what's wrong here? Oh, jeez. That was close. Gotta get it right eventually. Big bolt in the top. The Oldsmobile's kind of weird for its era that it pivots on the bottom. A lock washer? No, just got a regular washer. Tweak! That bolt is not very long. Make sure I put that back in the correct orientation. No lock washer. I wonder how that's going to work without being tight like that. Guess we'll find out. Let's see, we have power wire in the back. We'll plug in the field. No lock washer, no star washer. Oh, there was a star washer. It was jammed in. Make sure I put it all back the way it was. Right like that. her in. Snap. Kind of clean those connections a bit, I suppose. There's no voltage. So get that little wire holder on her. And we've got this really tired belt, which I have a new one, but you got to take off the air conditioning belt and the power steering belt to change the alternator belt. And I don't think I'm in the mood to do that. Because tightening the power steering on a GM, if you don't have the correct tool that I made out of some scraps, is not easy to do. Take the nice 16ths. Be a bit tighter, we'll get to that. Too big, too small, just right. I don't know about that alternator. It seemed like I had it a little too tight. Bolt in the back with the little wrench over here. That's the battery terminal. Make sure the lug doesn't spin on the bolt. Put on a positive, negative battery cable. That Corvair rumbling in the background. Baby out.
As soon as this car goes, the back will get. That looks like a 64.
Think she'll melt with that tight bearing, whatever it is.
Wow, okay. Let me have the key, I'll let you up the master right
Put
now.
our window down, it goes down crooked.
Pull up a little bit, we can go. And then back in now.
Drag her up! Nice, exhaustly. She's spinning. You hear it whining, so she's charging. The belt's flopping, so that means it's using up some juice. Success!
Don't like that fight. I'm gonna take that belt off again and spin it.
China alternator checker. I'll show you that. Grab my extra capacity battery. Everybody's got to have an extra capacity battery because YouTube sucks a lot of juice. I've got this little gizmo. They sell them on Amazon or eBay. It plugs into the cigarette lighter. You can charge your phone off of it. There's my voltage. Should be 13.8 to 14.2. Makes the lights nice and bright. How do you like that exhaust leak? Yep, we'll weld up your exhaust, except we won't. Drop her in gear. I put the fan on, but it doesn't work. The air conditioning blows ice cold, except that it doesn't. Headlights. High beams. I'm going to raise the idle a bit. Yep, that's what it needs. A little bit more idle power. Runs real smooth and sweet. The secondaries are totally gummed up or clogged up. I'm going to take off that belt and see how that alternator spins now, because maybe the retaining plate was just bearing down a bit. So, 30 minutes and 16 seconds later, I tightened up my alternator with my old belt that you have to take off the power steering belt and the air conditioning belt to change. That alternator's a little tight, and they got a generator noise over there that's pretty crazy. Let's see if we can get them to play that generator one more time. Can we fire this up one more time and hear this generator? It's pretty... You want to start it up? Yeah, but it's gonna stop going 70.
Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful car. That's a great appearance. Motor's nice and tight. Stops turning right away.
I got it running a lot better.
Did you take the carburetors apart?
No, I just adjusted them.
Oh, they look like rebuilt carburetors.
Yeah, they just weren't adjusted right.
Yeah.
Do you need help loading up, Mike?
In a minute.
Good looking car. We're not going to buy it because we already have enough. It's got a little bit of body work. Uh-oh, what happened there? It's a beautiful car, good from far, but you got to be careful when you buy these cars on eBay because they all are nice and shiny in the pictures until you get up close and personal and you wonder, what did I do?
Well, I'll tell you what, a buddy of mine bought this 69 500 coupe and it looked great, man.
They all do.
Gold paint. And, all of a sudden, a few months go by, things start bubbling. So he gets the old sander out. You know what they did? They took masking tape, put it over the
Pretty smart, huh?
And then bonded over the masking tape.
I like to buy them like this. Well, not quite this bad. At least you know what you got.
Yeah, but it is a Corsa, though.
Yeah, it's a 140 Corsa. Yeah. Flashback to 1971. Yeah, it's road ready. Yeah. Welcome to Mike's Corvair Clinic. Open your hood and say, ah. Yeah, matches my Harvest green refrigerator. Oh boy. Packed full of junk. But he's got everything he needs. Yeah. Corsa 140. Road tested tires. That middle one's not down to the wear bar. We still got a 32nd to go. Or a 64th. Yep. 144 speed. Lovely. Even has a trailer hitch. Road tested.
I can't believe it. Making that take you whenever you're ready. Oh, let's see if they ever will. No, I can kind of read.
Even has the spring rings.
Maybe better find out.
If I ever zoom
Why
here
don't-
first,
Why don't you have Clark come out and pick you up? Because you don't. Well, he's got to wait till the game's over, and then he's got to wait till Nate gets back with the bus to pick him up. So it's going to be, it's kind of 11 o'clock.
Firestone. Got good pressure.
You done with your plate? Want me to throw it away for you?
well, this
I don't want to fall down there.
140.
Now, if it had been making that noise, we wouldn't ever brought it up.
You know what, I'm going to go in there just to check. Okay, it could be a time when somebody didn't show up or something.
there should be a wire around